AI companies and the politics of surplus information, a new logic of capitalism. In the shifting landscape of contemporary capitalism, AI companies stand out as enigmatic actors, operating by a logic that is distinct from the traditional capitalist drive for surplus value and the social media industry's generation of surplus enjoyment. These firms seem to structure their policies not around maximizing profit in the classical sense, nor by directly engaging users in the cycles of enjoyment common to platforms like Facebook and Instagram. Instead, they are governed by what can be termed the accumulation of surplus information. This shift provides a unique insight into why their massive investments often seem detached from immediate financial returns, and why their leaders increasingly resemble politicians drafting manifestos, like Sam Altman and Dario Amodei, or engaging in spectacle and propaganda, like Elon Musk. Understanding how AI companies work requires us to distinguish three core concepts: surplus value, surplus enjoyment, and surplus information. Let's explore each concept and how they relate to the distinct operational logics of traditional capitalist firms, social media platforms, and AI companies. 1. Surplus value, the traditional capitalist logic. In classical Marxist terms, surplus value is the excess value produced by labor that is extracted by capitalists as profit. It is the driving force of capitalist economies, where firms seek to increase their profits by either reducing labor costs or improving productivity. For most traditional companies, whether manufacturing goods or providing services, the goal is clear: produce more value than the cost of labor and raw materials and capture that surplus as profit. For example, a company like Apple generates surplus value by designing products, iPhones, MacBooks, and using a global supply chain to manufacture them as cheaply as possible, capturing the difference between production costs and market price. The investment in R&D, marketing, and infrastructure is all aimed at maximizing profit by producing desirable goods at scale. This logic drives most industries, from automotive to pharmaceuticals. The investment logic is transparent. Firms seek ROI, return on investment, through profit-driven models, and shareholders evaluate performance based on quarterly financial outcomes. Two, surplus enjoyment, the social media model. Social media companies, on the other hand, have innovated a different form of accumulation, what can be called surplus enjoyment. These platforms capture users' attention, engagement, and emotional investment, monetizing these interactions through advertising and data collection. The term surplus enjoyment derives from the psychoanalytic concept used by Slavoj Žižek, which refers to the excessive unconscious pleasure that keeps users engaged beyond the functional utility of the platform. In the social media model, companies like Facebook and Instagram accumulate value not by directly selling products, but by keeping users hooked through algorithmic curation of content, endless scrolling, likes, comments, and notifications. The enjoyment comes from the dopamine hits that users receive as they interact with content, producing an addictive loop that keeps them returning to the platform. This enjoyment is then transformed into monetary value via advertising revenues, with users themselves becoming the product sold to advertisers. The investment logic of social media companies is clear: more users, more engagement, more ads, more profit. These companies invest heavily in algorithms designed to optimize user attention, and the more data they collect, the better they can refine these algorithms, thus sustaining their cycle of surplus enjoyment extraction. Number 3. Surplus information, the AI paradigm. In contrast to these two models, AI companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, and Tesla, in its AI endeavors, seem to operate based on a different logic entirely, the accumulation of surplus information. Their focus is not primarily on producing surplus value through labor exploitation or extracting surplus enjoyment from user engagement. Instead, their primary goal is to gather, process, and understand vast amounts of information, which may or may not have immediate financial returns. This focus on surplus information explains why AI companies invest billions of dollars into research and development of technologies whose commercial applications remain unclear. For instance, projects like the development of artificial general intelligence, AGI, are not driven by clear short-term profit motives. AGI, as an elusive goal, is framed as a technological breakthrough that could revolutionize multiple industries, but the path to achieving it is uncertain, and the timeline is long. This makes the investment logic opaque, at least in traditional capitalist terms. What motivates AI companies, then, is the belief that controlling, processing, and leveraging vast quantities of data and information will provide an unprecedented advantage in shaping the future. In this sense, their economic model is closer to that of knowledge monopolization rather than immediate value extraction. The profit AI companies seek is not measured by quarterly earnings, but by their ability to dominate and define the landscape of future technologies, an advantage derived from their accumulation of surplus information. Number 4. The political role of AI leaders. Manifestos and spectacle. This distinctive focus on surplus information rather than surplus value or surplus enjoyment gives AI companies a quasi-political dimension. Their leaders, like Sam Altman, Dario Amodei, and Elon Musk, increasingly resemble politicians or thought leaders, drafting manifestos and making grandiose claims about the future of humanity, AI ethics, and technological governance. Sam Altman's writings on the potential risks and benefits of AGI, for example, go beyond the scope of a typical CEO managing a company. They read more like a political manifesto, outlining a vision for how AI should be governed and how its societal impact should be managed. Dario Amodei, with his work on safety at Anthropic, similarly positions himself not just as a technologist, but as a moral philosopher, grappling with questions of human existence and responsibility in a world potentially dominated by machines. Elon Musk's ventures into AI, from Neuralink to his often theatrical proclamations about AI's existential threat, take on a more spectacular form, blending political propaganda with corporate branding. Musk, in particular, exemplifies how AI leaders are not merely tech entrepreneurs, but also public figures engaged in a kind of political spectacle, mobilizing public opinion, shaping policy debates, and creating narratives about the future. This political and quasi-religious role of AI leaders aligns with the logic of surplus information. Their goal is not just profit, but control over the discourse surrounding information, technology, and the future of humanity itself. This makes their public statements, investments, and strategies hard to decipher using traditional economic logic. They are not simply trying to sell more products or capture user attention. They are trying to define the terms of future technological development, positioning themselves as gatekeepers of the next era. Conclusion: the enigma of AI investment. The massive investments AI companies make, often without clear, immediate financial returns, are best understood through the lens of surplus information. This mode of operation distinguishes them from traditional capitalist firms focused on surplus value and social media companies focused on surplus enjoyment. By positioning themselves as the ultimate accumulators of information, these companies aim to control not just the future of technology, but the future of society. Their leaders, therefore, act more like politicians or philosophers, drafting manifestos and engaging in public spectacle to shape the discourse around AI's role in the world. This makes AI companies enigmatic, as their investments and goals do not align with the traditional capitalist models we are accustomed to. Their target is elusive, embodied in concepts like AGI, and their ultimate aim is to monopolize the future of information itself, a pursuit that blends economic power with political influence in unprecedented ways.